In studio, couple of weeks off. John is back from Florida. Tiger, myself, Brian Main, we are back with you. Good morning. Hope you had a good week. You missed us last week. Thank you so much. The cards, the letters, the emails, we appreciate it. We know we're loved, and thank you for being there. Back with Garden America. And again, a great show lined up today. Has to be a great show because Dana already said have a great show, guys, which puts the pressure on a lot of us, John, especially you. Welcome back.
That's right. Are you frozen, by the way?
No, I'm not frozen. We're good.
Okay, I need to refresh.
John, you refresh. You want to take a shower, refresh, or just refresh your computer?
I did take a shower, but you had your lips pursed and were not moving your head on my screen.
What, did you see the same thing?
No.
No, we're good. Oh, good.
Okay, I got you now.
So we are back. The three of us. Somebody, who was that said back with the trio? That was Rochelle, I think.
Oh, okay.
The trio is back.
Trio.
Yeah, we're back. What are you going to do today, Tiger?
I've got Tasia is playing basketball and Isaac is playing lacrosse. So,
But not at the same time.
no, not at the same time.
And not against each other.
No, right after the show, I head down to catch the basketball game, and then later on in the afternoon, we drive out to Del Mar to go to Isaac's lacrosse games.
Man, you're just a family guy, aren't you?
You know, it's that age right now where the kids are just sports.
They're always doing something.
Which I like. It's fun, and I enjoy it, but you just don't have any time to yourself as a parent.
Right. But then you know what? Once these years pass, you're going to miss it.
Oh, yeah.
And then Tiger's going to say, hey, Isaac, you want to go? No,
No.
Dad, can't do it. I got my friends coming over.
Exactly.
Hey, Tasia, do you want? No, Dad, I can't. Linda's coming over.
I'll have to text them because they won't even be around.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what I did when I was the age of your kids?
What?
I would leave the house in the morning, and my mom would say, "Make sure you're home before the street lights go on."
Yep.
Right?
We
That
all
was
did.
it.
Yeah.
And if your parents didn't come home in time, the neighbor would say, well, come on down, have dinner with us until your folks get home.
Exactly.
Everybody took care of everybody
and
else.
there was no way to get a hold of your parents.
Nope.
Or for your parents to get a hold of you. So it was just it was like a giant trust fall
Do
experience.
your kids even know what a busy signal is when they
No.
try to call somebody?
No.
There's
Yeah, right.
busy signals don't exist. Or
Um,
the phone would keep ringing. Well,
Right.
I guess they're not home.
No party lines.
I saw this Jeep. You know the Jeep Wranglers, they always have
Yeah.
clever things on the
Right,
back
right.
of them. Well, on the back of their wheel spare tire cover, it said this Jeep has a millennial theft system installed, and it showed the stick shift, map where it's like first, second gear. And
Right,
stuff like that,
right.
because like they wouldn't know how to drive.
They wouldn't know how to drive it. You know what?
Stick
Perfect.
shift.
That's great. Yeah.
I was just thinking that Tiger thinks a party line is waiting to get into a club,
Yeah,
right?
like, yeah, party line, exactly. It's not what it is, huh?
I got back from Florida this week.
Okay.
I had a
many
great,
stories.
great time.
Many Florida stories, John.
I haven't been to
Tell-
Florida for a long time.
What part of Florida? Because saying you went to Florida is like saying you went to California. Very different.
Almost.
Parts.
Tampa Bay area, right?
Did you know that Florida was the number 3 most populated state in the country?
It doesn't
did
surprise
not.
me. It doesn't
What-
surprise, because people go there to retire, right?
Yeah.
Along with the people that just live there.
And a lot of Californians are moving there. A lot of people from
Lot.
New York are moving there.
New York for sure. East
Well,
Coast people move.
I
to
know,
Florida
but
all
why?
the
I can
time.
think of better places to move than Florida if you're from California.
There's not as many as the New Yorkers, but Californians head east, and a lot of them stop in Texas.
Yeah,
But then a few go through Texas to Florida.
it's kind of like the East Coast version of California.
Yeah, without the humidity here, though.
Oh, as far as weather, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's, nice.
But anyway, we were in Indian Rocks Beach, which is north of. There's a little peninsula north of Tampa, so the little chain of islands that goes up there. So we were there at Indian Rocks Beach.
Did you say Little Rocks Beach though?
No, Indian Rocks
Indian
Beach. Yeah.
Indian Rocks. Why do they call it Indian Rocks? Do you know? Like, are they specific?
Or they're going to
rocks?
change the name to Native Rocks.
Yeah. Are they like specific, like kind of style of rocks? Is it very rough, rocky, or is it like ocean smooth, rocky?
I could make something up, but I have no idea.
First of all, there's a lot of questions to be answered there,
Yeah.
John.
Well,
Is it a rocky beach or is it a sandy beach?
It was a sandy beach.
Sandy
You know,
beach.
the white sand beach?
I knew
Yeah.
a
It
was
sandy
really
beach in
nice.
high
Oh, that's
school.
pretty.
Yeah, we didn't spend a lot of time there because of the red tide,
Yeah.
and it wasn't healthy for you.
And it's not just like it goes like right, like that whole effect of the red tide isn't just in the water. It's like on the beach and then just a little bit in. From
Well, on the
top.
beach were dead fish.
Oh, good.
So the effect was kind of on the beach.
Yeah.
The seagulls were happy because they were well fed.
Oh, God. I wonder if they. I mean, seagulls eat anything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
And they,
I guess
they can
I
be
guess a
mean, too.
red tide dead fish is not
Didn't
bad
bother
for their
them.
stomach.
Don't mess with seagulls. When,
They will
when
eat.
they're hungry or upset,
They eat so much.
they'll go after you.
But a lot of green. The thing I missed that we have here in California is you have views. You can see mountains. You can be up high. You can look down. Florida's just a wall of green.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see through
You
anything.
can't get over the canopy.
No,
Right.
no. And the palms are spectacular in Florida. They have the royal palms, which we can't grow
Are
here.
they Jerry Seinfeld spectacular?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
It's all that humidity, though, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's the humidity
and the-
because I was mentioning before the show to you guys that it does get colder in Tampa than San Diego. They can have a north wind come through and freeze a bunch of stuff, but it warms up right away, and that plus the increased humidity just makes everything grow. So there's a lot of plants there that would never grow here
right.
in San Diego.
Did you bring anything home?
The only thing I brought home was a cutting of a beach sunflower.
Ooh, what's that?
It looked like it's like a ground cover sunflower, and the flower is maybe the size of a quarter, a little bit bigger, and it was growing right in the sand. So I thought, hey, that might be a good drought tolerant plant.
Yeah.
I've never seen them here in California, so I checked to make sure it's not invasive. And it's not, so I'm going to try and see if I can get it to grow.
John Begnosco, the person responsible for all of California's invasive plant
Introducing invasive species.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know.
Well, going along with that I didn't know comment, David Fairchild, who is one of my heroes and wrote the book, The World Was My Garden. He's responsible probably for about 60% of all the food we eat today. He brought melaleucas into Florida, and we grow paper bark trees. Melaleucas here is an ornamental, and I don't know if they're as popular as they were 20 years ago, but it's a nice tree for California, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the Everglades, it's invasive,
Oh, I bet.
and it just took over the entire Everglades. They're everywhere.
Yeah, like the pythons.
Yeah.
The python
yeah,
outbreak.
just like it.
Yeah.
Exactly like it. They got Florida's got a lot of things going on.
Well,
really.
but I mean that is the problem, right? Where things grow. That's why they're so scared with Hawaii and some of these other tropical places, is because an invasive species really becomes invasive fast.
Yeah.
Because they grow so quickly, and where an invasive species, we still get those colder periods of time where maybe it won't take over as much, but there's so much lush earth and then also water that the species just take
Speaking
off.
of snakes and invasive species, no snakes in Hawaii at all, right?
Oh,
I
they have
heard
snakes.
That. Do they? I
Yeah.
heard one island didn't have any, or it was.
There might be one island
Well,
doesn't have any, but they brought the mongoose in to take care of the one snake problem.
okay.
Yeah, I was going to say they didn't, but then someone introduced it at some point in time, I'm sure.
Like
I think
formal
they brought the
introduction?
snakes in to kill the rats that came off the ship. Then they brought the mongoose in to kill the snakes.
Yeah.
But
all of our wonder.
The mongoose did not do a good job because is it mongoose or mongoose?
My mongoose.
Or
I think we talked about
mongooses.
this before. I think it's mongoose.
Okay, but anyway, they're nocturnal and the snakes were diurnal.
Right.
So one was sleeping while the other was active.
Yeah.
So nice try, but didn't work.
We've got about a minute and a half until the first break. We're going to bring in our guest today, Jen Nation, but we have to get to John's quote of the week, or should I say the quote of the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'm
Since he
kind of
wasn't here
wondering
last
what it was.
week. Yeah, you weren't here last week, so we have to cover 2 weeks, John.
I picked the quote because it reminded me a little bit of yesterday, which was St. Patrick's Day, right?
Yes.
I was thinking of the luck of the Irish. But I found this quote from Thomas Jefferson, and he said, "I'm a great believer in luck, and I find that the harder I work, the more of it I have."
Perfect. Great quote. So let's set the stage, Tiger, before the break. We've got just about maybe 20, 30 seconds here. Jen Nation, who, what, when, where, and high?
Yeah, so
High or how?
Jen Nation is the director at Olivewood Gardens. Olivewood Gardens is a neat location here in National City, which is kind of South Bay, San Diego.
South Bay, San Diego.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
So still very metro, but what they do is they teach people about where our food comes from. So it's a small farm. They grow crops there, and they also have cooking classes and
All right.
gardening classes, all kinds of fun
We're going to
stuff.
get her on board, so stay tuned for that. Those people obviously listening, watching us here on Garden America, go to our website, gardenamerica.com, check in. We'll talk more about that later on. In the meantime, we're going to take a break for our good friends on Biz Talk Radio, our fine sponsors, coming back with our guest today, Jen Nation, here on Garden America. Stay with us. Okay, we are back from the break. Those on Biz Talk Radio, thank you for tuning in. Those on Facebook Live, remember, with our guest, Jen Nation, questions, comments directed toward her or one of us, do feel free. So with that in mind, I'm going to toss to Tiger to bring on Jen, and here we go on this Saturday morning on Garden America, Tiger.
Yeah, so Jen Nation is the executive director at Olivewood Gardens and Learning Center. As I mentioned, a nonprofit down there in National City, just South Bay, San Diego.
South Bay, we agreed.
I mean, it's so funny because National City is maybe, I don't know, what do you think, Brian? 2 miles south as the bird flies from downtown San Diego?
Yeah, I'd say so.
So very kind of still metro area.
As we say, minutes away.
Yeah, minutes away. But an 8-acre actual learning center farm. Jen, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me to be on your show today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and really excited to chat because I've visited Olivewood a number of times, and it's just so cool to think that right here in the middle of a very urban metro environment, you have this facility where people can go and learn about farming, learn about plants, learn about cooking, and really truly get their hands dirty doing it as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people say we have a hidden gem in National City because if you drive by on the street, you wouldn't know we were there. But behind our gates, we have this 8-acre property that is just bustling with activity and lots of great food being grown and just education happening every day.
Yeah, and you are the executive director. So what is the role of the executive director there?
That's a great question.
What am I doing?
Yeah, let me try to figure that out. My role is really to just advocate for the kinds of programming and funding and resources that we need to be able to move our mission forward. We have a team of 22 staff, and everybody is experts in what they're doing, whether that's the team that's managing the garden or the educators or our nutrition staff. But they're really the people that are making the magic happen and working in and with the community. And my role is really just, to ensure that we have what resources we need and are able to get the word out on what we're doing and how we're doing it and why what we're doing is so important.
And, when it comes to obviously learning about food, biggest important is understanding, where food comes from, why we need it, why it's so important. What are some things that you guys do there that kind of bring that message out to people?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And one of the things that we know, we grow food. There's a lot of food access points throughout San Diego. And I think what's really critical is you can give people food all day long, especially healthy food. But I think that the piece that we do really well is the education piece of really understanding why it's important to eat a certain way and why it's important to get your food locally, that the food doesn't have to come from across the country and what those nutrients can really do for you. So our team is, not only growing all this amazing food, but we're also teaching people why it's important, and then how to advocate to have healthier food in school systems, in your cities, so it's accessible to everybody.
So on Olivewood's property, you guys have a farm. You guys have a kitchen as well, and you guys do programs for adults and kids, right?
Yeah, we serve people from age 2 from our Talls and Smalls program all the way up to 102 or older through our education and advocacy program. So our first program that we started was a field trip program for elementary students in National City. And that was about 13 years ago. We were serving a handful of schools. Students in 4th grade were coming to Olivewood. And in those 13 years now, all 10 schools in National City Elementary District come to Olivewood 3 times a year for this hands-on environmental science and nutrition education program. And then we also are in the schools. We're managing all 10 school gardens, and we have education staff that are running programs for TK through 6th grade. So our elementary programs are just really robust, and students are getting this progression-based learning that's all aligned with national science standards and Common Core curriculum, and they're learning from TK all the way through 6th grade at least 3 times a year in these gardens. And then we work with high school students as well. We have 3 internship programs that are really, based in education and job skills training and leadership development. We really want to work with high school students to set them up for success, whatever that may look like for them. So we're doing a sustainable urban agriculture program where students are learning all about growing food, irrigation systems. They're creating business plans, and they're actually right now they are propagating plants, and they'll culminate with a plant sale in May. So they'll be selling all these plants, whether it's fruits and vegetables or flowering plants or succulents. They're also hopefully this year going to be pitching to a couple nurseries on, just like they have all these seedlings. And so what does it look like to pitch not only to sell direct to consumer, but also to sell to, potentially nurseries who will then be able to sell. And then we have a garden to kitchen internship for high school students where they learn all about the environmental side, but also they're taking those skills into the kitchen, and they're learning basic knife skills and getting their food handler's card. And then we have a youth justice coalition. So these students are really digging in more to the advocacy work and, what's broken in our food system and what can they do locally to fix that. And so they'll culminate with a project that will hopefully improve food access for National City residents and South Bay community. And then the last program that I can talk about for years is our Cooking for Salud and Kitchenista program. And that's really a program for adults that is a behavior modification program focused on, just teaching people how to incorporate more fruits and vegetables, eating less sugar, all those great things into their diet as well.
Wow, so much to do. There's so much to digest right there.
It all sounds good except the less sugar part.
Yeah.
I don't know about
yeah.
that.
That's the only thing we heard.
Yeah. Well,
I agree.
It's so funny. First off, to touch on one thing that you mentioned, and it's in the very beginning, the one thing that I think you guys do, which is just so spectacular, is the school garden program and then supporting it. Because so many people out there will be like, oh, I want to start a school garden, and here's money, here's how to get the garden started, here's plants to get this garden started. But teachers are busy, and they don't, I'm sorry, but they just don't always have the time or energy and the effort to put in to helping kids understand school gardens. So let's give them a teacher that will then take these kids and teach them how to garden and be out there with them and weeding, and it takes patience, and it takes someone, I think, with a special understanding of plants. So you guys going and supporting that school garden effort in the school is one of the most spectacular things that is out there, and I think it's a really a good fundamental part of what you guys do. Hey, Jen, we are going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll continue chatting with Jen Nation and Olivewood Gardens.
Yeah, do stay with us, obviously. Those on Biz Talk Radio, those on Facebook Live. Any questions, comments, feel free, as we have our little community board up there on Facebook. And again, those on Biz Talk Radio want to check in, watch the show live, go to our Facebook page. Garden America radio show every Saturday morning, 6 minutes after the hour. We kick things off. That's 8:06 West Coast, Eastern Time Zone, 11:06. Taking a break for our friends on Biz Talk Radio. Back after these messages. And just like that, we are back. I want to welcome you to Garden America. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, the boys are back, and we are with you for a couple of hours every Saturday here from the iHeart Media and Entertainment Studios, broadcasting from San Diego, California. Tiger?
Well, I'm glad we did get interrupted by that little break because, when you're watching the news and they go from one story to the next,
yes,
and you're kind of like, that probably shouldn't have followed that prior story.
Right.
And I was just talking about how great it is that Olivewood gets involved with schools and, kids and all that other stuff. But then as I was going through your events page, Jen, and you mentioned it right now too, if nobody knew we were talking about a garden, or cooking program, the knife skills class. I feel like we're at a kung fu or karate or some kind of jujitsu, thing, but knife skills class. But it is so it's a basic class that I think it's important for everybody, right? I mean, because you're not only teaching people about, how to take care of your knife and sharpening and techniques and stuff, but how to use it as well. And that's an important part of gardening and cooking, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really popular class as well. It's funny you say that. Maybe we should think about the name, but I think a lot of people want to learn how to cook and cook healthier and, fruits and vegetables and how you cut them. And when you read recipes and you see julienne and, all these words that you're like, what is this? That class, definitely you can sharpen your knives, but you also are sharpening your skills and really understanding why and how to, cook certain food in certain ways and why you're cutting your food in those ways. So it's a fun class. It's definitely really popular and it's just a basic skill that a lot of people just don't have, and it's really beneficial.
I agree. I'm a 41-year-old man, and I still don't know how to cut certain foods. I really don't. Like,
right.
When you're cutting an onion, how do you cut it so you can dice it? How do you cut it so you can? I don't know. Again, I don't know. These things.
You don't make the mistake though, or you know better not to take out a knife from the drawer and bring the packages from Amazon off the front porch and start cutting them open with a knife. You should never do that.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Remember this, Tiger.
Yeah.
Always cut toward you.
Oh, is that the rule?
Always cut toward yourself. Yeah.
And run with it sticking up.
Scissors,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Jen, got a question. Somebody wants to know if your program is expanding around the country or are you unique?
Yeah, that's Rick in Star, Idaho wants to know that.
That's a great question, and we get asked that a lot. Our program is unique to our area, but it's something that can be replicated, of course, in other areas. We tell people you don't necessarily need to have 8 acres of property to, do what we do. I think getting basic nutrition education and environmental science into the hands of youth and adults is really, really important. We're seeing, kids that are going through our program, they're learning not only about science, but they're learning math and reading and writing skills. And then when you talk about the knife skills class, one thing, just kind of a sidetrack here, but our students now in 4th grade are cutting food with real knives. For a really long time, we used these knives called wavy knives, and they were safer and, we don't want a finger to go into our happy rice. But now that students are really learning how to use, these are skills that you just have forever. And so if we teach safety, now these students know how to cut with real knives, and it's a skill they're going to have forever. And so anyway, yes, our programs can be replicated. I think our Cooking for Salud, that adult program, is probably the easiest to do in terms of just, having access to the curriculum and resources and building community, which is really, really important. But absolutely, it's something that it can be done almost anywhere, I hope.
Rick also wanted to know if you have any corporate sponsors.
Yeah, we are a nonprofit, so we rely heavily on supporters, right? So whether that's volunteers and interns or whether that's individual or corporate or foundation support, we do partner with some corporations in town. Some of them support us financially. Some of them come and bring volunteer groups. but we have our budget grows every year, and we are grateful for the support that we have, but corporate sponsors are really, really important to our day-to-day work and being able to continue our mission.
Jen mentioned it a second ago, and one of the other things that I think you touched on, Jen, and I think it's such an important element, especially when it comes to gardening, farming, cooking, is we have a tendency to kind of hold our kids back, right? We're afraid to let them handle a pair of pruners. We're afraid to let them handle a knife, and we're afraid to let them, get dirty, and it is a little scary sometimes. I mean, I have kids and I have them help me in the yard, and when Isaac's using a tool, I do have to be careful, but at the same time, I have to let him use that tool, because if he doesn't,
you're not going to learn.
Yeah, if he doesn't, he'll never learn. He'll never learn its true power.
He will make a mistake.
Exactly, because he'll as he gets older, he'll get that false sense of security, and so.
Do you let him use the tool around something you just planted, though, or something that's really special?
It's a controlled environment.
Yeah.
It's a controlled failure.
Just
right?
wanted to make sure.
Yeah. If I have him go prune something, I really don't care what
something you were going to dig out anyway.
Exactly.
All right.
But
and you give him the dull clippers.
Right. But I mean, with that's what I think Olivewood does very well, is that you guys almost let the kids make their mistakes. Obviously not dangerously, but you let the kids, put in this effort, and you'd be blown away by what kids can actually do. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for years, I didn't even let my daughter boil water. And then all of a sudden one day I'm talking to a friend, and they're like, oh, yeah, my kid cooks his own eggs and this and that and that. I'm like, oh, my gosh, my kid's 2 years older, and I've never even shown her how to crack an egg and cook it. And so, no, I think that's really cool. And I emphasize this in the beginning, that because it is so urban, these things are lost on us here in the city, Jen. So do you see that a lot? Do you see that a lot, where these kids have never seen plants grow? They've never seen how an onion is harvested. Do you see that happen?
Yeah, I think what you're saying is really important. I think we try to give kids agency to do and learn by doing. And so everything is in a safe environment. I don't want anybody to think, wow, they give kids knives. But what we're doing is in a safe, controlled environment. And the more the kids are doing things on their own, whether it's harvesting food or planting a seed or cutting something in the kitchen, they're learning a skill. And I think one thing that we've noticed is, because a lot of our programs, the parent isn't involved, kids are a lot more adventurous. They're willing to try things that parents will tell us, oh, my kid will never eat that, or they'll never do that. And they come to Olivewood and they're cooking, they're planting, they're harvesting, they're cutting their food, they're cooking it, and then they're eating things that we get feedback from parents who call us and ask, I want the recipe because my student came home and told me that they tried, purple cauliflower or carrots or something that they hadn't had before. But when you ask about, do kids not see plants growing, I think kids seem like they have a better handle on it than a lot of adults do. We definitely have more adults that come through that are like, that is not broccoli. And I'm like, yes, that is broccoli. That's a broccoli plant. They're like, no way. And so I think, where food comes from and how it grows is something that not everybody knows. And that could be because we live in this urban environment, or they just haven't had the opportunity to see it yet. But I think that learning is so important, that all of us can understand where our food is grown and what Brussels sprouts look like on the vine, or what, how snap peas grow, or whatever it may be.
And, sorry, kind of a little bit different subject now. You guys just recently had an event that you guys had some big news for Olivewood as well, right?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, we're in our 13th year of programming, which maybe doesn't seem like a lot, but we've really grown tremendously. I think our original vision to what we're doing now, our impact is so deep, and we're so rooted in community that we're at a place where we want to be able to provide more resources. And we're really this multi-generational, cross-cultural, community-based learning space. And so we recently kicked off a campaign. We are trying to improve our property by adding a few elements that hopefully will be able to invite more community members in. So we are building a new greenhouse and some production buildings, which will help us with getting more seedlings started, which is more food, out into our fields, which then is out into the community. We're putting in a commercial indoor-outdoor kitchen.
Hey, Jen, sorry to cut you off real quick. We're going to have to just pause for a quick break, but when we come back, I want to keep hearing about what the plans are.
So keep that train of thought. And again, those on Facebook Live, any more questions, comments? Thank you, Rick. We do appreciate that. We're going to take a break for our friends on Biz Talk Radio, Brian Main, John Bignasco, Tiger Palafox. Happy weekend, happy day after St. Patrick's Day. This is Garden America. All right, we are back, and for those of you that are listening on Biz Talk Radio, this is the final segment of hour number one. You've got news coming up top of the hour as we stick to your schedule. We're back at 6 minutes after in many markets on Biz Talk Radio. Okay, Todd, I want to keep that train of thought back to you and Jen.
Yeah, Jen was just talking about how, they aren't just standing still and kind of maintaining.
Right.
You're growing, you're moving forward. You're looking to create some production greenhouses for propagation. You're looking to add some elements to the property so that way you guys can further enhance the community, right, Jen?
Along with the greenhouse and these production buildings, we're also going to be building an indoor-outdoor commercial kitchen, which will really help not only give us opportunities for more nutrition education, but we're hoping that it also expands our job skills and entrepreneurship programs. And those programs are really to benefit our high school programs, some of our kitchenistas who are looking to start small businesses and want to do some recipe testing. And then also, hopefully in the near future, not too far future, we'll also be able to do some sort of maybe weekly cafe where people can practice, front of house, back of house, serving, cooking meals for visitors. And so that's our big element. And then we just want the space to be more accessible. It's a space that feels really good when you're there. We have a lot of people who want to come and gather and meet. And so we're putting some new trail systems in, a new welcome area. And then we also partner with the International Community Foundation, and they're going to be adding an additional building to their space as well, which, again, is going to help with some of the cross-border gathering and resource sharing that happens at their organization and at ours as well.
Wow. Already when I feel like you guys do way too much and it's so amazing, you're adding even more to it. And that is such a neat, I think it's kind of like, it's as if in a trade school, there was an auto shop that taught you auto, but then they also had this shop that they taught you business and they taught you, customer service and all this other thing that goes along with it. Because it's one thing to teach people how to, grow plants, how to farm, how to cook. But now actually teaching them like, oh, here's how you have to operate on a daily basis. And, here's how you interact with customers and take money and how much money did you take and how much did that cost you to make? That's a completely different understanding. And so you're taking people that are interested in that whole field from start to finish so they have a true understanding of everything that goes into our food, whether they want to become a restaurateur or whether they want to become a farmer, Jen. And, do you guys have some people that have come out of your program now and they come back and they like, oh, wow, now I work at this restaurant or I own this produce shop or anything like that?
Yeah, I think our Cooking for Salud program that I mentioned earlier, it's the 8-week program we run for adults. When people graduate, they become kitchenistas. And the kitchenistas are a group of people who are really advocates for health justice and food access. And we have over 400 kitchenistas right now. And that's the group that we are most in contact with because they stay connected to Olivewood. They come back for ongoing education and programs and are out doing community presentations on a pretty regular basis, either in the schools or in the community or through corporations. But some of our kitchenistas are small business owners. Some are elected officials now. Many of them are entrepreneurs. And so the skills that they've learned, the confidence they've built has really, they have, I don't want to say it's all on us, but they definitely are women and men who who are dedicated and committed and have all these great skills already, and we've just helped kind of, bring them along. And I think they've built a community of trust within their own group of kitchenistas, and that's really helped inspire them and, being able to learn from their peers and share best practices and talk about their dreams and hopes and visions has helped that group, really just be out in the community as just amazing advocates and, doing great things.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. Now, Jen, I know you're not super involved with the actual the plant production, but I'm sure right now is a busy time for that area, right? Because planting, getting ready for spring, kind of wrapping up some of the fall stuff. So is there a lot of activity happening right now at the center?
There's so much activity happening right now. Yes, we are planting away. I know that our garden team is hustling too. This rain has been wonderful, and it also brings some weeds. So I know they've been trying to clear out some weeds. We have a lot of plants being propagated right now in our current small greenhouse and then just throughout the property. And we're really getting ready for spring. We have 300 blueberry plants that are I think they're just starting to flower.
Wow.
And those blueberries will hopefully be ready in the next few weeks. And those will go to the National School District salad bars and hopefully out to some of our local corner stores as well. We have tons of snap peas that are ready to go. And then just all the spring plants that are starting to go in the ground. So it's definitely a busy time.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. It's funny, when it comes to farming and gardening, it's like you're busy one thing because you're planting, you're getting things ready, and you have this very small window of like, okay, things are just growing, so you got to make sure they stay alive and watch out for bugs. And then it goes into now you're busy harvesting and picking it and all of that. So it's just an ongoing thing. Hey, Jen, how are some ways that people can learn more about the program, maybe get involved? What are some resources that you have for people?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a few. One is if you have access, I think Apple TV, Google Play, through PBS stations, we have a documentary. It's called The Kitchenistas, and it really showcases that cooking program, Cooking for Salud, that I mentioned earlier. And that's a really great resource, not only just to see that program in action and the impact it has, but to also see our property and kind of an overview of what we have going on. Our website, as you mentioned earlier, has lots of great resources, whether it's recipes or opportunities to take classes. We're still doing virtual programs as well as requested, so if people are requesting that. So olivewoodgardens.org is our website. And then we're active on Facebook and Instagram. So it's Olivewood Gardens, very, very easy to remember. You can check us out on Instagram or Facebook as well.
Awesome. Well, Jen, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Lots of great information. Such a cool program. So we'll make sure to post some links onto our own website and social media as well for people to be able to click through. Jen, have a great rest of the weekend and enjoy this rain. Because we know it's not going to stick around. So
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you so much again. I really appreciate the opportunity to share about Olivewood. Have a great weekend.
Take care. You
bet.
too.
Take care. All right, we're going to take a break for our friends on Biz Talk Radio. Quick break on Facebook Live. News coming up on Biz Talk Radio. And hopefully your market will carry our second hour of this 2-hour show, 6 minutes after. So do stay with us. For the entire crew until we meet again, which will be very shortly. In a few moments here, John. We're not going to panic here.
I was going to say,
yeah,
is this the end?
no,
This the end, Brian?
just a little tease there. Tiger Palafox, Brian Main, John Bagnasco. We're coming right back. Stay with us. Yes, as promised, it didn't take that long. We are back. Those on Biz Talk Radio tuning in for hour number 2, we welcome you. Those on Facebook Live that have been with us since the beginning, don't go anywhere because we're going to be doing a lot of things here. Questions, comments, whatever you want to talk about. John's got some interesting tidbits he wants to share. Tiger, always entertaining. So again, it's going to be a fantastic time, John.
Well, Tiger's got something exciting to share.
What?
What? What is
what,
it?
what am I
You-
sharing?
you-
Well,
you-
have you talked about your rose seedlings
Oh yeah,
yet?
here. Oh, perfect. The camera's right on here, so I can kind of hold it up. Look it in there. Look it in this pot right now. This is how many weeks ago was this, John?
About
5 weeks
I'd
ago.
say about a month
ago, right?
Yeah.
About a month ago,
maybe
yeah.
a little bit longer.
You brought in those rose hips that you taught us how to take seeds out of these rose
Right.
hips and
Yeah.
then plant them.
we did it in
And-
studio.
And these plants right here, these little roses that are starting off, we did in studio about a month ago, and now they're starting to grow.
Yeah.
You know what?
and-
You sound like a little kid that was in Jen's program.
Well,
Because
this is
that's what it's all
exciting.
about.
Yes.
Absolutely exciting.
Well, how many people? I mean, look at how many years you guys have been talking about gardening. But have you ever grown roses from seed?
In it's a rose that is nobody knows, right? Because
Right.
it's from seed. So this is a cross of roses.
Right.
And it's going to come out and it's going to be a flower and a plant that who knows what's going to happen with it.
When it blooms, it'll be the first time in the history of the world that
That
has come into existence.
because everyone is like
Exactly,
a
yeah.
fingerprint,
Yeah.
unique. Right?
So anyways, I mean, I am really excited.
Why not?
So John, I'm counting in here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little plants in there. They need to be how tall before I go in there and kind of start separating
See, that's
them
my
and maybe
first
put
question,
put them
too.
into pots.
I would
'Cause-
wait till
'cause-
they have their second set of true leaves.
Uh-huh.
Because you see, as they germinate, you get two cotyledons.
Yeah.
And then you get a leaf that comes out when the next big leaf comes out. And I usually look at the bottom to see if there's roots coming out the bottom of the pot.
Really?
Yeah.
So for those of you not watching on Facebook Live right now, this pot is 5 inches tall. So these little plants are going to have roots that go that
Oh,
deep.
absolutely, yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So
It is cool. It's fun, isn't it?
It is fun. I'm excited about these. You know, it's funny because
Tanya says that you're a proud plant papa.
Yeah.
I am. I'm gonna. These are gonna be special roses in my yard for sure.
Well, do you remember when I brought those in? Because usually roses are grown in greenhouses under controlled conditions. The seedlings are usually, or the seeds are usually chilled for about 6 weeks, if not longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Who needs that?
Right.
Right,
needs
right. Who
that?
needs that?
And the two varieties that I brought in, I said I'm giving you these guys seeds because from experience I know they germinate well outdoors, and you don't have to do anything special to them.
Yeah.
No, that's great. It's fun.
And it's funny too because this is. out of
Brian
all-
would have brought his in, but you said he's been weeding his pot.
No, I still have some.
But it's funny too because I was also going to say after the interview, this is going to be the first time I've done this also this year. So I mean, I've grown vegetables through the years, right? I mean, I'll plant them in my garden. I'll grow things out. The nursery has given me responsibility for about 25 tomato plants because we're going to be having a tomato tasting in
Are
the
you
summer.
sure you didn't give yourself that responsibility?
No, it was not me. It was
Okay.
not me. Yeah.
Okay.
So they were like, "Hey, we want to grow out all these tomatoes so that way in the summer we have tomatoes for this tomato tasting."
Right.
Right.
So right now I have these 15-gallon buckets and I've got like 25 tomatoes growing.
Sun sugar.
I honestly haven't even looked at all that's
Okay.
there, but I know they picked a lot of really unique and fun different types. So I'm basically a farmer right now.
Responsible for other people besides what you're growing.
Yeah, but
right?
I have to grow all these tomatoes, and it's going to be a
If you come
daunting
across the
task.
sun sugar plant, though,
Yeah,
little one
yeah.
for this year, I'd love it.
Okay, I'll remember it. We have them at the nursery right now. I'll
right.
remember it.
Because last year you gave me what were the little cherry ones last year that were
Sweet
just
aperitif?
Oh my gosh, we were picking them until just a couple of months ago,
Yeah. So
and I haven't had sun sugar since that tasting John and I did 20 years ago, whenever that was.
but John, I mean, has been involved in the industry, so you're totally accustomed to walking out and seeing huge numbers of plants, trial gardens and things like that.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't know, 25 tomatoes on my property is
Yeah.
daunting to
Well,
me.
even my couple, 2 or 3 that I have in pots, it's like, whoa, we gotta take care of these. But yeah, the sun sugar. I know John says that there's some that are sweeter, but that's
That
what
was
I
the
recall.
sweet aperitif you had last
Yeah.
year. That's the one that was sweeter.
Yeah.
Was it? I
Yeah.
mean, then I need the Sun Sugar to compare.
Yeah.
Because to me, that was just
You
like
need them side by side.
yeah, side by side comparison.
Yeah.
As we used to say.
I know I'm nowhere near this level, but I feel like I'm getting to like Kathy Pearson farming level. You know, where
But she has a
has a
tractor.
tractor. Exactly.
You have 15-gallon pots.
Yeah, but it is full time.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I'm glad right now because it's just been raining, so I haven't even had to really like,
I
water
know.
it.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Now
and then
we've
it's
got-
going to rain again on Tuesday, so
You know, we've got, I know every week I talk about our dove story. So the doves came in early February, which was really early. They had their 2 eggs, their 2 chicks, took about a month. So then they come out of the nest, they start flying around, and then she comes back. It's like, what are you doing? So another repeat. They're going to have more. But the
wait a
juvenile,
minute. In 1 year, they're going to have multiple.
it's the same couple. It's the same dove couple.
Jeez.
Well, the fact that it was early February to begin with,
Yeah.
usually it's March or April. So they have their little chicks. They fly away, or so we thought. No, they're hanging around the patio. They usually
They can fly though. They can fly.
They can fly, and
They're totally capable.
they're juvenile. They're not as big as the parents, but they're getting there. But no, they're not going anywhere. And I'm sure they're doing their thing during the
Well,
day.
they've got water.
And they got seeds and they got a
Yeah.
fountain.
Yeah.
So why go anywhere? But now she's on her second 2 eggs already. Wow. It's like, okay. So, you know, we're cleaning the patio, got the seeds out there for them.
This week at the nursery, a hummingbird hatched and is now currently. It was in our annual plant vegetable bedding area,
Mm-hmm.
and so we had this little hummingbird that was on the ground, and the mom was flying around trying to protect it. So we're like, oh, it fell out of the nest. No. When we went to go scoop it up, it could fly for small spurts.
It was learning to fly, right?
And it currently is learning to fly. So it's kind of like currently like working its way around this area. So we always have to be kind of careful watching out what we're doing because it'll fly onto plants and then just hang out there for a while. But it's just neat to see this process.
The whole
of
process.
This little kid learning its thing,
Mm-hmm.
and the mom's there, feeds it still, but then the kid it'll fly from one side to the next side. And
No,
it's-
we've enjoyed it. We've had hummingbirds in the
You-
past as well. But the funny thing, and real quick here, is these 2 juveniles that really won't go away. Then they go up to the parents and they want to be still
And the parents are like,
fed.
"Get outta here."
Get out of here. It'd be the equivalent to being a 25-year-old kid. Come on, move out of the house. It's
Living
time.
in the basement.
I'm not going to support you. But getting back to what you're saying, the process is really cool, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind because there's pictures of these birds on our social media, missionhillsnursery.com or Mission Hills Nursery. But the juvenile bird almost looks as big as an adult bird.
Yeah.
They're like puffy and more rounded, but they're almost the same size.
Right.
It's
right.
Crazy.
Yeah. No, it's fun to watch the whole process. So.
Yeah.
What
That's our nature story.
is it in the Amazon where they have the bee hummingbird?
Yeah. Yeah. The bee that has the long.
No, it's a hummingbird, but it's the size of a bee.
Oh no, I don't
really
know that
little.
one.
Did
Oh,
I
there we
just
go.
make that up, or
No, I
does
think
that
you're
sound
right. I think
familiar?
you're
No,
right.
I think
you're right.
I heard something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hummingbirds are amazing. They're just, I mean, and you know what? They can be vicious too.
It's the
They're
only
very-
bird
they're-
that can
they're-
back up.
Yes, yeah, only bird that can back up. They're very territorial.
Yeah.
Very territorial.
They look like a big bug.
Which
what
is
they
funny
look like.
because they sell a lot of those hummingbird feeders that are like communal, and they do use it. So you'll see 20
Right.
hummingbird feeders on one hummingbirds on one feeder, but like you say, they also are very territorial.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you'll see one bird which will just fight all the other birds.
We put
around.
up like a little swinging perch next to
Yeah,
our
yeah,
feeder.
yeah. Yep.
So last couple of seasons, one of them who was very territorial, he would sit on that perch.
And that's his.
So when he wasn't
That's
drinking,
his or her perch.
when he wasn't drinking, he was chasing everybody else away from the feeder.
That's funny.
Lenore points out something that was in the newsletter. You know, we always, and this time of year, I start getting more than I can use.
Right.
Nobody sends pictures to the newsletter in the winter.
But you want just a
Right.
snowpack?
Yeah. We have some diehard followers that do send us pictures all the time. Lenore and Carla and sometimes Rick, but Rick's in the middle of
To
winter
keep the
right
newsletter
now.
going throughout the winter months.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But anyway, she mentioned that, I don't know if you guys looked at the pictures in the newsletter, but Robert from Grapevine, Texas, occasionally will send us a fantastic picture. And he did a bonsai of an encore azalea.
We're going to take a
Ooh.
break. Hold
Yeah.
that thought.
All right.
And we're going to come right back. Biz Talk Radio, Facebook Live, Garden America. Stay with us. Okay, we are back after that very short break on Facebook Live, a bit longer on Biz Talk Radio. Thank you for those tuned in on Biz Talk Radio, supporting our many sponsors. And now, John, back to you, picking up your train of thought.
It's gone. What were we talking about?
Talking
Encore
about
azalea.
Oh, okay.
Bonsai.
exactly.
Yeah, if you look in the newsletter, and if you don't get the newsletter, it comes out every Friday, Brian. No charge, right?
No charge. You go to our website, gardenamerica.com, sign up for the newsletter, front page, I believe.
Right. If you don't have a computer, Brian will drop it off at your house. If the mailbox is handy, he just sticks it right
Well,
in
I'll
there.
be like a paper boy. That'll be my route, my
Yeah.
paper router route. And every Friday I'll come by and I'll toss the newsletter into your mailbox.
But if you go to our website, gardenamerica.com, you can sign up for it, and you will get it every Friday. But we ask for pictures. We have a section called What's Growing in My Garden. And Robert from Grapevine, Texas, sent in a picture of, Tiger's going to put it up on Facebook if you're watching,
Yeah,
a
there you
picture of a bonsai shaking a little bit there.
I can't hold still.
But
Too much coffee, Tiger.
yeah.
But yeah, I thought he did a
Isn't that
great
beautiful?
job. Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah, the cool thing when people do bonsai,
You know what? Why don't you post that? You can post that on our Facebook
Yeah.
page right now, right?
I will.
Thank you.
Is the flowers are still pretty much the same size.
Regular size,
So
right?
it's so it's this small, because you actually have two more pictures down. Another azalea, the Nuccio something azalea.
Yeah, I think that
candy,
was from Carla.
but it's just on a bush.
Right.
And the flowers are the same size, and that's a
Right.
full bush versus a bonsai. And Robert has a lot of flowers on that one. I wonder
Yeah.
how he did that.
Well, you know, it's got to be protected, right? Because if he's in Texas, I'm not sure what part of Texas Grapevine's in, but it's probably cooler weather than we have here, unless he's down along the
and then
the
very
Gulf.
hot and humid in the summertime as well.
If you're in the Brownsville area,
Yeah, Texas is
Gulf
hot.
area, yeah. So I guess we should mention they're called Encore azaleas. It's a whole class of marketing class of azaleas, and they're called Encores because they rebloom. Most azaleas bloom in the spring, just like camellias bloom one time, and then that's it until the next season. But Encores will come back for another bloom. And there's a few Encore azaleas that in San Diego, and I had one in Fallbrook in full sun. It just did fine. Most azaleas need a little bit of shade.
So there you go. Well, thank you. All the more reason to send us those pictures that will appear in the newsletter. And
Right.
again, besides the newsletter, we invite you just to check out our website every now and then, gardenamerica.com. It helps us, and it also helps you too, because a lot happens and a lot of things do change.
Veronica mentions that hummingbirds can be as small as a bumblebee up to the size of a pigeon.
So we do believe your story,
I don't know
John.
if I've ever seen a pigeon-sized hummingbird.
If I saw a pigeon-sized hummingbird, I would run,
Yeah, I did.
especially if they had the same temperament
Yeah,
as the little ones.
yeah.
I'd like to see a picture of that. That would be like a horror movie,
Pigeon-sized hummingbird.
right?
And can you imagine those wings flapping that fast, being that size? It would create a storm.
It would create. It would probably cool off your whole backyard.
Well, a flock of them would cause a hurricane.
Oh, goodness. Right? Yeah.
So we have our link to our website, which is on our Facebook page right now. If you're tuned in right now, you see that in the community section where you can chit-chat back and forth and ask questions. GardenAmerica.com.
Hey, you know what's blooming finally? California poppies.
Yeah.
It took a while. They were really late this year because of the cool weather. And African daisies, they were out right after Christmas,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And the hills were full of them. But now the California poppies are beginning. Yeah, I drove by a field of California poppies yesterday. Speaking of fields, is there a super bloom going on somewhere? You would think with all this rain.
Well, they were talking about when it was going to start, because they were going to say it was going to happen in Borrego, which is kind of the desert, the eastern desert part of here in San Diego. But then it rained again, and so they felt that it would delay it again. But it's funny you mentioned the California poppy, because we were talking about it, and then I went out and I was walking around and I saw lupin. I was like all excited because I told you before, lupin are one of my favorite flowers, and there was a poppy blooming right next to it, and so yeah, now is the time of year where I kind of feel out there in the more eastern desert areas, you're going to see those super blooms happening, because the rain and John, like the temperature has been nice compared to the prior storms that came through and were really cold.
They were very cold.
This one
Wasn't so bad, was it?
were not so bad.
Right.
And so now things will bloom because it's not cold and the rain.
Mhm.
You're gonna see a lot more.
And we have
blooming
more
happening.
rain coming early
Yep.
this week as
Yeah.
well.
I a while back I had a friend on, Nick, who's an almond farmer, and he was pretty bummed a couple weeks ago during that last cold one because
What did he lose?
all of the almonds were flowering, and then they had a hailstorm.
Oh boy.
And so, we talked about this, that just knocks off all those
All the
almond
hail
flowers,
damage.
and all those flowers are potential almonds. And so now, for those crops, they're going to have substantially less almonds on those trees.
And talking about messing up your bottom line,
yeah,
and
there's nothing you can do.
That's all money, and that's
And-
all.
well,
yeah,
and that's, I mean,
it's out of
there's
your control.
Totally, you can fertilize, you can water, you can prune, you can do all of that. I'm sorry, but you can't protect it from a hailstorm.
No,
I mean, you're gonna grow everything in a big dome.
remember that commercial, John, years ago? It's not nice to fool with Mother Nature.
That was for margarine, right?
Margarine.
Margarine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because
why?
it was supposed to be like
You think it's butter, but it's not.
it's not, and it's
Yeah.
healthy for you, and only
Yeah.
Mother Nature can give you the real thing.
Real
so
butter,
kind of getting
yeah.
back to what you're
So wait a
talking
minute.
about.
They were saying margarine is
Well, Mother
the real-
Nature, who is the character in the commercial, is eating butter and mentioning, or eating the margarine and mentioning how good her butter is. And somebody,
because it
not
comes
nice
from
to fool-
plants
yes.
versus butter, which comes from
well,
cows.
no,
nice
but then
to
then
fool her.
Mother Nature is fooled because it's not butter; it was margarine. So
Oh,
yeah.
she goes, "It's not nice to fool Mother Nature." And then there's like thunder and lightning.
thunder and lightning. So anyway,
What-
kind of a
what
roundabout
is-
way, getting back to the almonds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You can do everything, but Mother Nature.
It'll take us all out, no problem. What is margarine? It's oil, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's plant oil, right?
Yes.
So it's margarine comes from plants, where butter comes from animals, right?
From cows.
Cows.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. It's funny.
Do you eat a lot of butter?
I do. I love butter.
Good. Go get your cholesterol checked.
Yeah. I don't I don't eat margarine though.
I've never eaten butter my whole life, ever.
Ever?
Never
So
on
you don't know what it-
toast.
so you
never
don't know what it-
spread it on anything.
No.
No,
If I
you
go
know
to a
what he has. He
restaurant,
just
I
doesn't
say-
remember.
And I order toast. I say no butter.
Do you?
How
but,
can you eat dry toast?
but-
Really?
But
No,
what about
you put jelly on it or something like that?
Margarine,
What
at
about
least.
like asparagus and like sautéed in butter?
Oh,
Is that
that's-
o-
that's fine.
That's fine. But you
Right.
don't spread butter on anything.
No.
John doesn't
Never.
eat a stick of butter.
No,
I don't
never,
do that.
He
never
doesn't
do
grab
that.
a stick of
I
butter.
don't do that either.
Well,
and
doesn't
just
the
eat it.
fair have deep fried butter?
I don't know. Do they?
They
I feel
used
like-
to. Yeah, they had deep fried butter.
Okay, I can hear my
Heart.
my heart pounding
Yeah,
and my
closing-
arteries slamming shut right now
closing up.
based on this conversation. It is break time. We have 2 more segments coming up, so a pause for these messages on Biz Talk Radio. Garden America for your weekend. Okay, we are back. Thank you for sitting through that break. We always hope that you had a good break along with us. We have 2 more segments to go, Biz Talk Radio, and of course, Facebook Live, our friends on Facebook Live.
All right, I know you've been wondering about this. The largest giant hummingbird comes from South America, and it has a body weight of 0.7 of an ounce, which is
7/10.
not much,
No,
right?
That's nothing. But birds are also very light.
So,
Like even
yeah, it's about 8 inches long, which is quite a bit longer than a regular
Yeah, that is.
hummingbird.
Right, but what about the girth? It's always about the girth.
I don't know about the girth, but anyway, it weighs less than most sparrows. But a hummingbird the size of a sparrow is still pretty big, right?
Right, yeah, because I think hummingbirds, if you didn't know better, you'd think, well, what is that bug flying around?
You know what I saw in
Bug
my
with a
yard
long beak.
last 2 weeks ago, and I don't know if we mentioned it, but robins. I had robins.
Yeah,
Did-
you
oh,
did mention that. I remember.
Did I? We never see
We don't see
robins in
robin.
California.
Because they don't come bobbing along very,
I
very
think we
much.
did mention it because
Yeah,
I
because
remember.
I think Brian went off on either Cardinals or Blue Jays or
Yeah.
something like that. Or Orioles.
Because
too.
I'm seeing birds I don't normally see. We've got the normal sparrows, we've got the doves, got the crows, no pigeons. But
Yeah.
now these birds that look like they're not indigenous to San Diego, but obviously they are.
I saw birds that I don't normally see when I was in Florida.
Did you?
Yeah,
Anything
Yeah.
stand out in your mind?
ibis.
Ooh, those
And-
are cool, right? Those are like
yeah.
those sea kind of like crane kind of birds, right?
They're like egrets.
Like an egret, yes.
Right,
Like an egret.
right.
Yeah.
And then what else? Some of the shorebirds we don't have here.
Mm-hmm.
My wife even noticed that. She goes, "Their seagulls seem a lot cleaner here."
Really?
Yeah. She said the ones in California are kind of dirty, like they belong to a gang or something.
Yeah,
But they were really white and
They've been hanging out with pigeons too long.
yeah.
that's funny. Yeah.
And a spoonbill. We saw a spoonbill. I don't
What's
know if that.
Does it have a spoon for a bill? Is it kind of weird looking?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
they
cool.
dip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You didn't see any spiders the size of dinner plates, did you?
No, but now that you mention it, do you know what? Did you ever spend any time on the East Coast?
Yes.
Do you live down there?
Not lived down there, but I visited there. Been to Florida. Been back east.
Okay. Do you know what a palmetto bug is?
You know what? I think I do,
Because
but
palmettos are
I've heard of
the
them.
native palm trees to the area. They're everywhere, right?
Okay.
they live in the palm trees. Or
They,
not?
I guess they live in the palm trees, but it's like a giant cockroach.
Ooh.
And
Don't tell me they fly.
Oh yeah, they fly.
See, you just lost me.
We had one come into the condo, and first of all, it's about the size of a mouse, so we thought it was a
goodness.
mouse, and I start running towards it, and this thing comes after me.
It said, "John, back up."
Yeah, and I'm thinking, and then I realized, oh, it's a cockroach. It's not a mouse, and my first instinct is to get out of the way, so I run into the bedroom.
Now it's running, not flying towards you.
No,
Running.
it's running towards me.
Okay.
And I run into the bedroom, and this thing comes after me, goes under the door, and then finally I come to my senses, and I go, you know what? Let's just step on it. So I stepped on it and killed it, but it was gigantic.
Yeah, everything's big in Florida. They have spider crossings. You know, when you're driving down the road, big spider crossings. You know.
Well, and we were there the time of the year when there's no bugs. But
There
normally,
were bugs, but there were bugs.
yeah, people who have not lived in Southern California don't realize how there's a bug-free part of the country, because you can't have your doors open there. Where in California you can leave doors open.
Everything
and
will fly in.
fly.
and walk
Yeah,
in.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing we
No.
have here is mosquitoes. You know, you leave your door open and you get
But
mosquitoes.
see, you know what? You can run away like a cockroach. You can run away from, and they're basically shy. They're not going to come after you.
Yeah.
But any bug that's that big and can fly,
Yeah.
you're at a disadvantage.
Oh,
I would run in my room and get under the covers too.
yeah.
Scream like a little girl.
We have a friend that's like screamed like a little girl, afraid of every bug. So whenever we hang out, because you just see bugs places, and she screams every time. It's so funny because like she can't handle it. I'm like, it's a little bug. Get over
Little bug, but yeah. Did you ever see the movie The Hailstorm Chronicles?
it. No.
I want to say late 60s, early 70s. And I think, John, if memory serves correctly, it was about what would happen if insects were organized. They would wipe us off the face of the earth. Easily.
well, we've talked on the show about if there were no cars, we would be destroyed. Bugs would overrun the earth. Because you know how fast they breed, and you know how many billions are killed by windshields every year. If you weren't killing
grills.
those and they were outbreeding, it'd be
The
all
Hailstorm
over.
Chronicles. I believe that's what it was.
Carolyn says that in Corona del Mar she had a flock of robins for the first time. She'd never seen them before. She commented on how messy they were.
I'll have to look in. They do that. It's I think it's like right around Christmas time or something, where they do that bird count, where everybody goes out and counts birds.
Oh, yeah,
That one day a year, the Audubon Society does it. I'm wondering if they noticed a change. You know, because they've been doing it for a series of years now. So I'm wondering if they're seeing any changes in finding birds in places they hadn't seen them before.
When I managed the Claremont Mesa Nurseryland many, many years ago, one of the employees there was in charge of bird counts.
Really?
And he would organize everybody, and they'd go out with their task. You know, we got to go to this area, count all these birds, which gave me a headache just thinking about it because they're flying all over, right? How do you know if it's been counted?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, maybe if you had a paintball gun and if you shot it, and hopefully wouldn't kill it, but you could say that one's already been
You can
counted.
mark it. Right.
Yeah. Kevin says that with spring coming, he's going to send in a bunch of pictures.
All right.
He's up in Idaho.
Nice.
He also said the worst of the green fig bugs.
Oh,
Horrific.
yeah, those things. Well, we're talking about those beetles that fly drunkily without any sense of direction.
Right.
Those are the worst because you don't know where they're going to go.
No, they don't either.
Yeah, and they don't. And then when they get on you, they're like a grasshopper, and it like is a
you can
feeling,
feel it. Yeah.
It's a feeling that's like scratchy, like it's almost like grabbing you, right? And so that's scary. You know, they get in, and then they get in. I feel bad for ladies a lot because they get in the hair. Like they'll drunkenly fly into someone's hair, and then they can't get out. So now they're just.
And you can run, but it's
still in
your
your
hair.
Yeah. So those beetles, and I looked those up, and they do not have a sense of direction.
Really?
That's the way they fly is not by design.
Randomness.
They don't have a sense of direction.
So they're all about hope.
Yes.
Do you remember what Bruce?
They are.
Do you remember Bruce
I know
Asakawa
what you're gonna
telling
say.
us what he used to do?
He used to tie a fishing line or a string to a
He
fly.
would take to those beetles.
My
Oh,
dad
to
used
those
to talk
beetles.
about that too.
Yeah, he would put a fishing line with super glue or something.
To stick to the leg or something.
Yeah.
Well, how did he catch it? When it would land or what? I mean,
Well, they just fly into you. You just pull it off.
You catch them pretty easily. They're not fast, evasive creatures.
and so what do they add to the environment?
They're a beetle, so they're a grub, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
So they're a root eating grub because a lot of that's the thing, right? Like you don't know their purpose when they are an adult form. I don't know. I mean, they're probably a food to a bird at that point in time, right? When they're an actual flying beetle,
yeah.
But you know the larvae form is sometimes the important part. It's just like ladybug larvae are more voracious eaters than the ladybug when it's an adult.
Right.
So people put these ladybugs on plants and they're good, but what you're really hoping for is those ladybugs then to put eggs and then to have larvae on your plants because those are what's going to really eat the aphids on your plants.
And why are they just ladybugs? Aren't there any men in there?
No.
No gentleman bugs?
No gentleman bugs.
You mentioned about the feeling the
grasshopper or the
feeling that
green.
feel on your skin, and I made a huge mistake. And do you ever do anything where you realize you should have known better?
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Right. This was obvious. Why did I do it?
Yeah.
Okay, the eastern prickly pear cactus was in bloom when we were in Florida.
Ooh.
And it was really pretty, brilliant yellow blooms. And I thought, I can just break off a pad and bring it back here. I'm sure it'll grow, right? Why wouldn't it? I didn't realize, I'd forgotten why they're called prickly pears. And I had, I think I still have some of those sticking in my hand.
Yeah.
My hand. And then I
put it in like your pocket or
I
something.
put it in my pocket.
So now every time you put your hand in your pocket.
Right.
Okay, we got to take a break. One more segment coming up. Still time for any questions, comments. So we love reading them on Facebook Live. So again, quick break. Friends on Biz Talk Radio, Facebook Live. One more segment here on Garden America. All righty, we've made it. Been a great show so far. We said great at the beginning. We think it's great. Very good, maybe, in some scenarios. So here we are back, final segment. Get those questions, comments in on Facebook Live. And want to address that tomato question, Tiger, from Rick?
Yeah, real quick, though.
A top tomato, but go ahead.
Go back to John's prickly pear because normally the prickly pear cactus we have here have a pink flower,
Right.
and this one had a yellow.
Brilliant
I've
yellow.
seen them before.
Almost fluorescent yellow.
I've seen yellow before, but I
Right.
feel like that's kind of unique.
And I don't think the ones here had needle-sharp spines.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they're usually longer, so you can avoid them.
Yeah.
Yeah, these, there was no avoiding these.
It was fine. Yeah.
There's what's the cactus? It's an opuntia, bunny ears.
Uh-huh.
You know those? If you rub that, your hand's full.
You just brush,
Yeah.
and it goes off into your fingers.
Right.
Yeah.
And these were like the bunny ears, but maybe double the size, double the length of bristles, but maybe half the width.
Oh,
So
wow.
you could barely see them. They went right in. And if that happens to you, what you're supposed to do to get them out is get duct tape
Right.
and put the duct tape and pull it out. But we were out on a nature walk, and there was no duct tape
Yeah.
around.
No, it's tough.
So
There were no duct tape stands out there where you were?
no.
So Rick asked which
Top
tomato.
tomato. What are
Okay.
you looking for?
So I will say, Rick, over the years of my experience, that I like all tomatoes. So now that I have 25, honestly, I haven't even looked at the varieties. I just get more excited when I get some in whatever they are. So I'm not growing one particular variety that I'm excited to see what it is or what it does. I just get more excited when one produces well and I like
Right.
it, and then I find that out.
And we're
Because-
successful.
Yeah, because I mean, I just like trying new things. So if I wanted to just grow a tried and true tomato, I grow something like San Diego and just be happy with that tomato. Or
That's
you
no
know,
fun, though.
Sun Gold. But it's going to be interesting to see what grows and what they turn into and how they taste. So I don't know. We'll find out. I'll share my
I don't think
I'll share
Dana's
my journey.
I don't think Dana's ever tasted sun sugar either, because those are yellow. Obviously, you can tell the difference.
Correct.
How
Yeah.
could she not have tasted sun sugar when you grow them in your patio?
I don't grow sun sugar. I've never grown sun sugar.
What do you mean you've never grown sun
grown-
sugar?
I
I've
haven't.
given you sun sugar many times.
Years ago, but not
Yeah.
recently. Well, I don't think she.
She didn't eat tomatoes back years
I
ago.
don't
If she
think
wasn't around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I got to bring everything up to date.
Is Carla pulling our leg here? She said that last summer she had a pin-tailed wida in her neighborhood.
What is that?
It sounds like she's
Is that a
pulling
deer?
up. No, it's a bird.
It's a bird.
It's actually a bird with a long tail, but it sounds like something you made up, right? We know you didn't make it up, Carla. I saw a picture of it on Google Images, but it's a kind of a songbird with a really, really long tail.
Oh. Yeah, I like songbirds. That is one thing.
You like
that
to be serenaded. That's why.
I do. And when birds can have a good little voice that go along with them, I don't mind that.
Do you like? Are there any birds you don't like?
How about crows? Are you a fan of the crows?
Yeah, see, I'm not a big fan. And
They're smart,
talking
though.
about bird
Right,
counts,
yeah.
when you're counting crows, that takes.
Yeah.
Very good. We got that reference. We got that reference.
A bird that I don't like. I really don't like seagulls. I don't like them. I'm not a fan of a seagull. I think they're
What about a flock of seagulls?
Jonathan Livingston. What, is it Jonathan?
John's reference to counting
Yeah,
crows.
right.
Yeah,
How many musical groups can we get out of birds? Well, the Birds, but that was BYRDS.
Doesn't
but
make
still,
any
right?
difference, right?
Flock of Seagulls was a band?
Yeah,
Was
back
it?
in the 80s.
I thought it was a book.
Yeah, flock of
And
seagulls.
a
That's
book?
Jonathan Livingston
Livingston.
Seagull.
Yeah.
That's a book, right?
Right.
Okay. But
Kevin-
I don't like seagulls. No.
Okay,
If there's
so-
the bird I do not like seagulls.
I think crows is the only thing I don't like.
They're so smart, though. Too smart for their
They
own
are
good.
smart. I had when I lived in my old house, I had a crow dive bomb me once. I don't know why. I don't know what it thought I had.
Kind of territorial, but
Yeah.
they can reason things out. You can give them like octopus. They can figure things out, how to open a jar
Yeah.
and do things. They're very smart.
Was that on Seinfeld? Was that a crow that flew into Elaine's head?
Yeah, probably.
Do you remember
Her head is so big.
It's like it couldn't avoid it.
Were you? Was I talking with you about octopus? That octopus only live a year. You know that?
You sure?
That's right. Yeah. There was this movie that came out, documentary on
because
octopus teacher or something like
because
that.
I saw a documentary on, I think it was at the, not Santa Barbara, but Monterey Aquarium.
Uh-huh.
And they had this big tank, and he would recognize the various people that worked there would come up, and they would teach him things. And I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they
A year, that's
on
not-
this- Yeah, they're very smart for a very short time.
You
right?
better get a lot done then, huh?
right.
In a year?
Think about if they live 10, what they can do. They can probably solve world peace.
An octopus only lives a year?
I don't know. Really?
I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know. How do you get the giant octopus?
Well, that's squid.
That's squid.
Yeah, but
But octopus can get big, or octopi, whatever. They can get big.
but wasn't that an octopus that was fighting the giant squid, or no?
Are you
Are
thinking
you talking
like
about Godzilla?
you thinking of 20 Leagues Under the Sea?
Yeah,
Or the Kraken?
yeah. I don't know.
3 to 5 years. Giant Pacific octopus.
Three. Okay.
There you go.
3
Yeah,
to 5 years.
I knew it wasn't
But
one.
the common, just the regular common octopus is only 1 to 2 years.
Well, that's
that's
why.
not that common, is it? Then, if it only lives a year.
Well, they must breed a lot
Well,
because that's
That's
a
all they
sushi
do.
thing. Is you eat them live, right?
yeah.
You wrap them around a stick and then you
just
shove
lost
it down
me.
your
and
throat.
they're live.
Yeah.
But-
Okay. Good
but I
night,
mean-
folks.
but I
Dropping
mean-
the mic.
But I mean, talk about nature at its finest. Okay, this animal
We got to hurry up because we have to roll. here.
only lives a year, and like you said, look at how smart they are. So that's all got to be passed on,
It's called
Right?
DNA, right?
right?
Hey, we have to go.
You mean
did-
we have a break or
how did-
what?
No, we're done. The
How
show's
do you
over.
go from plants to octopus?
All right, show's over. Nothing to see here. Hey, thank you for joining us again here on Garden America. We no plans on being off anytime soon, so the three of us will be back next week right here. In the meantime, I want to say thank you to those on Biz Talk Radio. Thank you to those on Facebook Live for supporting us. Go to our website, please. Visit our website. It really does help us, gardenamerica.com. This show will also be uploaded later today on our YouTube channel, Garden America Radio Show. Till next time, take care, be safe, have a safe rest of your weekend, a safe week, and we'll do it again next weekend right here on Garden America.